Four-wheel steering. That's always a nice debate to see whenever somebody just asks about four-wheel steering in their vehicle. Be it a fast vehicle like the Ryft, or a monster truck, or a crawler. It's always about four-wheel steer. Oh, it's a cheater rig. Not really if you don't know how to use it. Yeah, you got to drive accordingly. Four-wheel steer on a monster truck. Oh, you'll never get it to hold straight. It won't hold straight. It won't corner well. It'll over-rotate. Well, guys, a lot of that is in the setup of the vehicle, the intended purpose, and the radio. Now, I'm going to show you guys these two vehicles here, which are four-wheel steer. They are set up very differently. And then I'm going to demonstrate them in this video right here. So, these two, let's get to the table. Let's take a look. Let's start off with the Ryft. The first thing you should be noticing is the position of the drag link. Look at how high up it is on the servo horn. That's there so you don't have such a fast rear steer. The Raw500 is fast, it absolutely is, but you don't need all that speed on the back. With a vehicle like this, monster truck is the same way, you don't need a whole heck of a lot of actual turn on the back, because just a little bit like this right here will actually get the back end to start kicking around. You know, it could be as little as that. That's all you need to kick that back end around. Now, I run a mixed steering, as in this turns with that. A lot of guys, including the real world monster trucks and real world balancers, I believe they all still run it just simply on a switch, left to right, simple and easy. And they learn this. They learn the timing of it. How fast is it going to center? How fast is it going to make the turn? And they get really, really good at it. So I run mine mixed. But yes, I have run them manually on a 3-position momentary switch as well. But the thing is, you don't want a lot of slop here. Now I got a little bit, and it's coming from these joints right here, which is this link right here. I'm not sure what exactly that is. I need to get a legit link and put back in there. But yeah, if the back end is really sloppy, you can have a major issue keeping straight. Keep that back end under control, and it'll track just as straight as before. On to the Mule truck. Now this is a bit different setup. You see that's all the way down on the horn. This truck, if it ran as fast as the bouncer, that would be almost uncontrollable because of all of the turn that I've got back there. And it's all being used. With the Ryft, I only use about that much at the most. I don't use all the turn. And this right here helps me get that, but it gives the servo a mechanical advantage over the steering and helps keep things straight. So we've got all of that in. This one right here, on the other hand, this is about crawling and control, so I need all that turn. But the radios are very different, and that's what we're going to get into next. The radios are as different as the vehicles. This GT5, it has a really good steering gyro. It's also really good for one-handed driving. Really good ergonomics to the way I drive, because everything you see is one-handed from me. So now this one right here, the steering gyro, it's only on the front. So when you have your radio set up like correctly, and I'll show you the settings for the Ryft on that, when you're in the straight position, the back doesn't turn. The front is under the gyro. So that helps this thing stay straight. However, even without a gyro set up the way that is, actually runs really good because you have to have it set up correctly. Mule on the other hand, this is a very different radio. There is no gyro here. I've got full steering, left, right. Push this button forward, it goes to front steer only, back into four-wheel steer, back into rear steer only. And then you can push this button and you get to crab. So it's all right here in the handle. You don't have to look through it or go through the menu or count the beeps or any of that stuff. This right here has those same capabilities, but it's really cumbersome to get into those settings. You literally have to get into the menu and scroll through and take care of that. So this is more suited for a faster four-wheel steer. This is more suited for that. So yeah, now I'm going to power these up and just kind of show you guys a few things real quick. Starting with the Ryft, let's watch this right here. See how fast the front end versus the back end is? This right here being up higher actually slows it down. It reduces the throw, but it increases the torque to hold everything straight. For me, I like a faster servo up front than what I do on the rear. The powertrain, the gears, the driveline inside of this servo has proven itself over and over again to be exceptionally strong. So that's why I use it. I haven't went into the servos to adjust them using the programmer or any of that, but that up to there and the proper endpoints. That front is going full lock to lock. The back is not. And this works great for this vehicle right here. Now with Mule, watch this. Everything's about the exact same speed. Also maximum throw front and back. Like I said, this is a completely different vehicle, different intended usage and all that. If, like I said, if this was as fast as a Ryft, it would be uncontrollable because of that. However, with this radio, watch this. One button forward, on front steer only. The back is locked. Back, rear steer, back again, rear steer only. Now you can push this button right here, crab steer. So that is how Mule is set up, and it works really well. But you know, two very different vehicles, different purposes, and well, I guess let's go ahead and power both of these vehicles up. Just if I can get the Ryft over here. There we go. And get these things outside so I can show you guys the differences in how they drive. For the demonstration, we're starting with Mule. Watch this. See that? That's kind of hard to control because it's not built to run that fast with the full steering. If I'm going to do that, I'm going to run it front steer only. See how much better controlled it is now? But this is a full steer truck. So let's go use this truck for what it's meant for. If this was as fast as a Ryft, it would be broken quick. And here we go on the rocks. Let's go ahead and give this thing a drive. I'm going to show you guys a few things real quick about it. With the rear steer, you've got to drive accordingly. This is going to require some of that driver mod. Now, if you're turning really sharp right there, look at that back tire climbing. Sometimes you don't want that to happen. You're coming up across this, riding across that. Now, right here, you've got that right there, which is probably going to catch the axle. So what we're going to do, we're going to try to crab steer it over, get the entire vehicle away from it. Creep right on up through there. Right here, that four-wheel steer is going to bring the back end over and allow you to set up for this, which should bring you right up and over. Now, in this situation right here, say you just made it past this gate right here, and the other gate is up there. So if you turn like this, look at what's going to happen right into that gate. Now I'm going to reset this, and we're going to try that again in a different way here. We're going front steer only. Look at this. Now you got plenty of room. You can go back to rear steer. Bring that back end around right here. Nice and slow. Bring it right through the area where you wanted it to be gated. Look at this right here. Boom. Just a real brief way to drive four-wheel steering, because you really got to take some time and learn how to make that drive. No kidding, because it can mess you up just as much as it can help you. Oh, let's look at this right here. Got into a little bit of a situation. Now for this one right here, I'm going to go into front steer only. See if I can get out of this. Look at that. Like I said, you really got to learn when to use four-wheel steering and when to not on a crawler. So here we are. Now watch this.
Look at that. Perfectly right on around. Now I've got my front steering maxed all out, as you guys saw, so there is a little bit of chatter on that. But if you drive correctly, it's not a problem at all. Now, jumping four-wheel steer can actually have some adverse effects on that, but again, you got to drive correctly for that. Simply let it do what it's supposed to do. Now, this radio, it does have a little bit of a gyro on it, so then that helps out quite a bit as well. But as far as overall speed, as long as I don't flip it over in a bump, it's going to get a little wild anyway. But that's just the nature of the Ryft. Okay, now we're going to try to do a precise turn right around that stick. Boom, there you go. Driving precisely with four-wheel steer requires a little bit more of a mod, a little bit more driver mod. There it was. Now, in the monster trucks, you can use this if you're on a tight track. You just got to be precise and learn how to drive it. Now I'm just over here getting dirty. With the rear steer on a fast vehicle, steering input makes a lot more of a difference, and that's where a lot of guys get in trouble. And really, you can't get in trouble unless you learn to drive it. Now, just as a comparison, I turned the rear steer off. Oh, that was neat. That was neat. Now notice, it's not drifting, it's not going crazy. I'm having to drive it differently. It's not zipping around or just, rotating very well. Partly because my ground is, not exactly the driest and slickest. But like with this radio, you can do it like this, and say you want four-wheel steer only for your freestyle or something with a monster truck. Well, there you go. But that, you got to go through the menu and get into all that. Now we're back into four-wheel steering. Ow! See, and I'm having to drive completely different now. Much less steering input. I can zip it around. Wow, that was a serious air shot. So I can zip it around and make it work.
So yeah, you can effectively drive a four-wheel steer vehicle both at speed and in technical situations. Is front steer only easier? Yeah, usually, but in those tight corners, say you're driving a monster truck and you got to zip that corner around that little hairpin corner, well, if you can't slide it, which I know sliding is a big thing, pop those tires loose, let that thing slide around. If you can't do that, the track is too sticky, bam, zip that right on around with that four-wheel steering and get going. but you've got to have it set up right, and that was the point of this video. This has got a not completely different setup, but very different as opposed to this. They're meant for two different things. If I four-wheel steer my LMT, guess what? It's going to be set up just like this, not like that. If I set up another four-wheel steer crawler, it'll be set up like this, not like that. So there's a difference in the setup. Also, radios make a big difference, and you've got to drive accordingly. So anyway, guys, hopefully you figured something out during this video. It was interesting for me to make. Driving accurately, you know, that's different than just bashing around, zipping it around. So, but anyway, guys, hopefully you liked the video. Check that description. We'll put links for both of these, the Vitavon stuff, the Castle stuff, all that, the home stuff. Check that description out. Use those links. Make sure you're subscribed, and thank you all for watching.
Guys, if you like what you see, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and ring that bell. So, in the description, there's a link to become a channel member. If you want to become a channel member, it's a very simple $2, $5, $10, or if you really got some money, $25 a month. It's a simple way to support the channel. So, get that, and I am doing monthly giveaways for members only, so you might want to consider it. So, guys, use those links. Make sure you're subscribed. Thank you all for watching.